Hi guys. Okay, is this not the cutest little thing,
That's so
Merge?
cute.
It is so cute. Okay,
Imagine
and
getting that for Christmas.
you don't even have to wrap it. This should just go under the tree like this with a little bow on it. Like when when you turn 16 and you get a car and they put a bow on it.
Yeah.
This is so cute. And today I shot a ton of the little micro memes because I am obsessed with all things very small, and I think it's just so cute. So check this out if you're like, I don't know what to get. So yesterday we showed the little buddy because that's the little guy, and then today I'm showing the micro mini,
You know,
and
the
I'm
small things. Yeah.
all little tiny guys. It's so cute. All right, so what's going on? I think it's again almost Christmas and everything's getting a bit chaotic around the house. But what's going on, Matt?
You were watching some inspiring videos this morning.
Oh my God. Okay, so Rich Roll had on this woman who is an Ironman champion.
Like Kona, right?
And she had some really interesting things to say about, like, the idea of women competing in sports, but we never think about it in terms of, well, men don't get their periods, men don't have to be pregnant maybe at the peak, especially with endurance athletes and Ironmen and like certain types of sports. Women don't come into it until they're later on in their lives, which is really interesting. So it's fascinating, but she did say something that I was like, whoa, this is hardcore. So she said she had her baby, and then she was training for Ironman, and it's so hardcore that she was pumping Matt while she was training on her bike on the street. Like she had it on, like they had to bring it with her because she was out on the road for like 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I was like, holy cow. And then she was also saying at these training centers, they don't have, pumping stations. So these women are like finding themselves in the shower because that's the only place they could have privacy and sit down. So I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. So these are all things that I think people need to talk about. And I'm so happy that she did. And I'm so happy that Rich was a guy who's willing to go there and talk to her about it and really share this, because you know what, and it is already difficult enough, because I remember even when we had our kids and we had to go back into the office, it was like it's just so uncomfortable. And I find that it's so admirable, like when women, it's just a natural thing, and they go to the office and they have to pump, and it's just like, okay. But people don't think of that, and I think it's
Nobody
a really
talks about that.
really tough thing. So I think the more that women talk about it, and then the more they speak about like their experiences going back to when they go back to work, what they have to go through, and all these little things. And then she was also saying that the WNBA sponsors women to freeze their eggs because they're at the prime. And then so she was also bringing it up like, well, what about other sports? Can they do that for other sports? So I was like, interesting. What about work? I'm just kidding.
These are good topics.
Yeah, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's just food for thought, but it's fascinating because 30s and late 20s and 30s and even late, that is prime time for work, and of all genders, and, but I really find that fascinating, and people need to talk about it more. People need to talk about their struggles a little bit more, and then maybe then solutions get solved. And I think it's really fascinating. And I think the other thing that's so interesting is my sister works on a lot of boards, and I've met a lot of really amazing women founders. And the main thing is for more women founders and women who work to be at the table when the decisions get made. Because if we're not there, who's going to bring that up? Because I don't think a guy is understanding that you have to pump every 3 hours or else your milk will go away or it gets really uncomfortable. So I think fascinating on all fronts, a little food for thought, and I would love to hear any stories that anybody else has. So I think it's fascinating. What's the other thing? Oh, tomorrow I want to talk about a person who came through the store, and I keep thinking about her because I really find it like she really inspired me. So tomorrow we'll talk about that because I had to get my thoughts together. But how cool was she, Merge? Amazing, right? So basically, the long story short is she came in, and it's all about just finding yourself again when you're feeling really down. And I was like, wow, and it's this whole story, and I find it really really inspiring, and it keeps Matt and I going, because I think sometimes we're like down in the trenches, especially during Christmas, trying to just get things done, and we forget sometimes the bigger reason of why we do what we do. And then when people come in and they talk to us about their stories,
That's always the best. When people
yeah,
come in. Yeah.
I find that that's when you're like, yes, I'm jazzed. I want to keep doing this and, keep moving forward. And I think I can't wait to share that story. And then next year, with the new year to come, I was thinking that I wanted to do a segment on people's Parker Thatch bags. And I want to do stories on people's Parker Thatch bags and what they've been through. And the Parker Thatch bag is the object. However, that bag follows you through your life and what you're going through at that time. So I was going to come up with a series of 5 questions. Love to have you shoot your Parker Thatch bag really close up and you could see it. And the more I think that it's aged and it's a little bit crumpled up, maybe has a little stain somewhere, maybe the leather's a little bit worn on one side, I think that's when it's the coolest. And I think those are the shots we're looking for, and that's when you could really then tell the story of what you've been through with the Parker Thatch bag. And I think that it's a reflection, and I think you bring your bag everywhere, and it goes on these adventures with you. It's there when it's high, it's there when it's low, it's there when it's raining, it's there when it's sunny, and I think it would be really interesting. So we're gonna do
when a ancient tree is cut down, you look at the rings.
Yeah.
And scientists can tell, like,
how many.
Well, what happened in a particular,
Yeah.
like it was a drought year or it was a good year. And it's like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like if there's a stain on it, awesome. Like, what happened that day? Oh, and like you could remember that, and I think that's such a reflection. And I think I cannot wait to see how these bags wear and what they look like and the story behind it. So I think that's what we want to do, and what we'll do is prompt with 5 questions. And I can't wait to show you. And I'll start mine first, and then Matt has some
read
too.
Through them, and then we'll feature them maybe on PTTV
or on Instagram. I think it'd be really fascinating. But think about it, and I think it'd be great. So these are all things that we're thinking about, because I think for me personally, when we put the bags out there, sometimes I get amazing stories back, and it really jazzes up. So we just really want to hear more about these stories behind the bag. So I think it's fascinating, and I don't know what the segment's going to be called, but I think it's going to be something about Warren, and going through life. So anyhow, food for thought. So anybody who's around in the Northern California area, Matt and I are going to be at the Marin Country Mart this Sunday, and we're just going to bring a series of little things, and we just can't wait to meet you. We're going to be at the post office, which is the Trading Post, and if you are familiar with Marin Country Mart, it's where Drew is. So we can't wait to just meet everyone and say hi, and we'll be there from 11 to 5 on Sunday. Okay, bye guys.